Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday and we are going to give you guys a bonus video today with the news that Aaron Rodgers is out this Sunday in a big matchup against the Chiefs, potentially out a couple weeks. I wanted to weigh in my thoughts and opinions on it. I also wanted to look at how the impact is going to be for the Packers as a team and the organization as a whole. I want to start out by saying it is your decision as far as your vaccination status, if you want to or you don't. I hope Rodgers is okay, and I wish him a speedy recovery. With that all said, let's get into it. Let's start by talking about the facts and what we know. Aaron Rodgers has not been following league protocols for unvaccinated players since the start of training camp in July. That's number one. He is out this week versus Kansas City and potentially next week against the Seahawks, as he has a mandatory 10-day minimum amount of time that he needs to hold himself out with the protocols. That's number two. When asked by a reporter in August if Rodgers had been vaccinated from the COVID-19 virus, his response was, "Yeah, I've been immunized." Rodgers pursued alternative treatments and then petitioned the NFL to be able to be qualified as a fully vaccinated player, and the NFL refused his claim. Rodgers was not wearing a mask in any of his in-person interviews with the media or in any of his meetings with the team. And finally, other teams have already been fined or, in some more extreme cases, lost draft picks due to violations and not following the strict COVID-19 protocols. Those teams include the Saints, the Raiders, who are both fined $500,000, the Titans and the Patriots, who were each fined $350,000, and the Baltimore Ravens, who were fined $250,000. The Saints have already had to forfeit a 7th round draft pick, and the Raiders had to forfeit a 6th rounder. Them's the facts. Now let's look at what all of this might mean and my thoughts and opinions on it. First of all, I just want to say this is a horrible look for Aaron Rodgers for so many reasons. The fallout could and probably should be fairly severe. Let's take this step by step. With Rodgers not following team protocols for unvaccinated players since July, that means that there was frequent, significant, and blatant disregard for the NFL's policies over the course of the last 3 months, and I doubt that they take that very lightly. From purely a football standpoint, this is a brutal blow to a team that was looking at the overall number 1 seed in the NFC. They were probably the front runners for it prior to this. Their chance now of beating Kansas City on Sunday takes a huge hit, which is evidenced by the fact that the money line in Vegas dropped a full 7 points in the Chiefs' favor once Aaron Rodgers was considered out. This opens up the door for teams like Dallas, teams like Arizona, and the LA Rams to now take advantage of it and get a leg up on that number 1 overall seed, and the only team that has home field advantage through the playoffs and a bye for sure. This also would open up the situation where if they lose to the Chiefs, that gives a new opportunity for teams like Tampa Bay and to a lesser extent the New Orleans Saints, who could jump them as they both only have 2 losses. The NFC is an extremely top-heavy conference, so every win counts. Not only are they probably now going to lose to the Chiefs, but if Rodgers can't play against Seattle, who could have Russell Wilson coming back, the blow is killer. Now let's move to what he actually said. I will not say that Rodgers flat out lied. However, at best, he was extremely deceiving in a very serious situation. His actions after a statement that, "Yeah, I've been immunized," when asked about being vaccinated from the COVID-19 virus, mind you, were that of a player who acted like he was completely vaccinated. It's like a parent asking their child, "Did you eat all your vegetables?" And the child answers, "Yeah, all my vegetables are all gone," while they're simultaneously feeding all of their vegetables to the dog under the table. They're not exactly lying because the vegetables are gone, but they're certainly not telling the truth either. By pursuing alternative treatments, whatever that means, and then asking the NFL if he could be considered fully vaccinated with those treatments, and their refusal to do that, the NFL was well aware that Rodgers hadn't had his shot or shots. So they need to answer for why he wasn't treated like the rest of the NFL and all the other players. The team needs to answer for why they didn't hold him accountable to the same standard as everyone else. These questions should not have just come into play now just because he finally tested positive for the virus. That's not acceptable to me. By refusing to follow the protocols that were set in place with his interactions with both the media and his teammates, Rodgers showed a complete disregard for the health and the safety of others. It's been all about him this entire time. He clearly doesn't care about what may or may not happen to those coming into contact with him. Let me be clear about this. People are getting sick and they are dying because of COVID-19. They deserve the right to protect themselves and to protect their family members. And when you're interacting with someone who you believe is fully vaccinated and turns out not to be, that behavior is not acceptable either. Your decision is your decision, but that does not mean that you ignore and don't worry about the countless number of individuals that you are coming into contact with on a day-to-day basis. It's fine when it just affects you. However, when all of these other people are now having to worry or deal with your decision and they don't know about it, that's where I draw the line. If I, an Aaron Rodgers teammate, any trust that I had in him now comes into question. If I already had trust issues with Rodgers prior to this, which is not only a possibility, but it's probably likely considering the circus that was surrounding him for the entire offseason, I'm not really sure where you go from there. Rodgers is clearly still the leader of this team, and that's not going to change anytime soon. However, when your leader also has issues with trust, things that you've been working on all season, things that you have been fighting for as a team together, can certainly come crumbling down quickly. The final piece of this is the repercussions both financially with the potential loss of picks or even multiple picks. I'm sure there's already a thorough investigation that is going on and is trying to figure out exactly what happened. But when you compare this to the severity of the other teams who have already received fines or lost draft picks, I cannot see a situation where the Packers aren't also losing a pick or two because of this. There's going to be significant fines regardless. It could be $1 million, it could be more. I think that as far as the loss of picks, it's got to start with a 5th or a 6th, maybe both, could be a 4th, who knows? But there's going to be repercussions that are severe for the Packers and the organization and Rodgers as well. The NFL needs to send a message when it comes to the conclusion at the end of all this, because this is not just about someone being untruthful. It's about a complete lack of care for other safety and well-being. It's about endangering those around you, and it's about Aaron Rodgers thinking that he's above the league. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this matter. Please drop those down below. If you are new or haven't got to it yet, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate your support. It helps me out a ton on my road to my first 100 subscribers. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abraham Opatz, and we'll see you next time.